Hi everyone, I'm Shauna and welcome to my channel. Today's video is a super fun summer video and I'm going to be talking about 10 things I am not going to buy this summer. This is a seasonal video, and one of the things I've talked about in the past quite a few times is the fact that a lot of us like to refresh our lives, not just like our decor, but our makeup collections, our fragrances, our clothes, when we have a new season. And I've talked about this as like trying to try, or even just the idea of refreshing our makeup collections. I think this happens almost for the sake of it, or something out of tradition. Like, it's summer, so I need a pink nail polish, or it's summer, so I need this kind of jewelry. And today I'm going to be talking about 10 things that I am not going to buy this summer, and I hope if you need to hear some of these things that this video just comes at a good time for you as well. I also just want to say, I don't think I'm doing my obligation as a Canadian if I don't complain about the weather. It's 44 degrees today. Yesterday was 38. I washed my hair yesterday morning and it's already like, there's nothing you can do with it when it's 44 degrees. 44. I don't know. I feel like in order to be a Canadian, you have to complain about the weather, whether it's too cold or too hot. Anyways, let's get into the list. Number one is a beach read. This is a classic summer purchase. Like, there's even a category of books that are meant for this like specific occasion in the summer. I've purchased some in the past. People have purchased some for me in the past. And even if you want to purchase one, Indigo, for example, will have like tables where it'll be like $2 or $3 for these kinds of books. And ultimately, the library exists and it's such a great resource. I also have a lot of books. Like, do I really need more books? Do I really need more books? I also found a little free library around my neighborhood, so I can check there if I really want to. But the thing is about these books, and most books in general, is that you read it one time and then you're done. So maybe book fanatics out there are cringing or crying after I say this, but to me it almost feels like a waste of money to buy something, like wear it once. With clothing, we wouldn't do that. Or at least I wouldn't do that. Buy something just to wear one time. So why would I do that with books? I have one that somebody bought me last summer. It's called Big Summer, and I never read this. So this is going to be my summer read, or my first summer read. And I'm gonna go to the library when it opens up. The library system, as I found out previously, will not let you pick up books via curbside if you don't have a car. So I currently don't have a car, therefore I'm not doing curbside. So I do have a Kobo, so I can put books on there. I can use what I have, but also use the library system. And I tend to fly through these like beachy summer reads, so it just makes more sense to me to get these items for free. Number two are beach towels. And this is something I see everywhere in the summertime. Well, I mean, beach towels are only really used in the summer, but it's just like, it's become a thing to have a handful of towels that are really colorful. And a lot of places like Indigo, as an example, will have like sales or deals where they'll have like a $10 towel, and they're so beautiful. And like, I do kind of want to buy these things, but I own one beach towel, and that's good enough for me. There's never a time where I'm literally going to the beach or the pool every single day. It's every couple of weeks. I've already been to the beach once this summer, which was amazing, so much fun already. But it doesn't make sense for me to keep buying these things when it's mostly of aesthetic value. Like owning variety and buying it because it's summer, buying a new one because it's summer. And there's a lot of things that we tend to buy every year because it's summer, or at least you kind of hear about people buying them every year just because it's summer. And you don't need to buy a new beach towel every year. Some of you, it might make sense to have a couple of towels. If you live near a pool, or you have kids, you go to the pool a lot or the beach a lot, you have a cottage, something of that nature. But even then, do we really need to buy the newest beach towel because it's new, because there's new designs out. No. The third thing are beach accessories. And okay, for me, the beach towel has its own separate category because it's this symbol of summer, and it's almost like a collect 'em all kind of category, and every store has their version on display when you walk in. When I'm thinking of beach accessories, I'm thinking about things like blankets, umbrellas, maybe even coolers, anything that you would use for the beach. This could even be things like summer plates, you know, like those, maybe like those melamine or those hard plastic ones if you are bringing them to the beach. Things that you might also take, like if you were on like a camping or kind of like a beach trip vacation. My question for you is, like, why do we need stacks of these things? Why isn't one set of, let's say, summer plates good enough? Or sometimes people will have pitchers or coolers. Why isn't one good enough? Why do we need one in every size, every color? And when it comes to beach towels, for me, I don't need any option. Like, one is perfectly fine for me. I have one, it works, it's great. We have one umbrella, we have one cooler, like, we also, even things like floaties, one is good enough. Maybe if you have kids, sure. Or again, if you visit the pool a lot. One of these things is good enough, and we don't need to buy them every summer just because we need some new variety in our lives. Okay, on to some more makeup and fashion things on this list. Number 4 is a bright summer lip. Statement colors, I feel like, are pure, like, prime summer category. We tend to buy these things in the summer. They make a statement and a splash in the summer. I feel like beauty YouTube talks about this a lot in the summer. And the thing is a lot of us probably already own something. It might not be this year's statement color, but we probably own something. For me, I'm just going to give you an example. I have this Tower 28 lip gloss in this orange shade. I also have it in the red shade. I also have this beautiful kind of like pinky red lip color that's like really prime summer for me. I have a couple of these things, and chances are you probably do too. We don't need to go and buy another new one for the summertime. And for me, this kind of category is really pertinent to kind of keep in check because we only wear these colors in the summertime. Something like a towel, as an example. You could literally own that towel for 15 years and use it, let's say, 3 times, and it will be there in 15 years. However, you can't keep your lip gloss for 15 years. If you don't use it in a handful of years, probably 2 or 3, this thing's gonna go bad, it's gonna go off, it's gonna smell, and then you kind of wasted your money. For me, having a couple in formulas that really work for me, like a lip gloss is something I'm actually gonna reach for over a creamy lipstick. And that's why I only have one. I've had more in the past, but I've just decluttered them because I don't use them, and then they sit around for the rest of the year. And so seasonal makeup is something that attracts a lot of us because it's like those bright summer colors are so punchy and so attractive, but I just don't get enough wear out of them, and you probably don't either. This also goes for things like statement eyeliners. Bright eyeliners are super popular this time of year. Bright blushes like coral blushes and red blushes, even statement eyeshadows too. For me, all of those categories kind of apply in this example. For me, I'm most drawn to the bright lipstick opposed to the eyeliner or the eyeshadow, so that was my example here, but it all kind of fits. Next on the list are summer fragrances. I already have tons of perfume minis, and if you feel like, oh, I'm so sick of what I already wear, do you have a perfume mini lying around? Because that could just be a really easy way to kind of get some variety without spending any money. And chances are, like, after trying a couple of things, you realize this is the scent that I love because you've picked it out for yourself. I already have one, and it's Daisy. That's a super popular scent. A lot of us wear and love it. And that's my spring summer scent. I do feel like having seasonal scents is good, and that's the way I roll. But for me, it's like 2 seasons, fall, winter, spring, summer. I have 2 different perfumes, and then I have one kind of like all year round perfume. That's enough for me. And perfumes are so expensive, and I can't justify dropping $100, $150 on a new fragrance. Yeah, they do last a while, but it takes a long time for us to go through it. And it kind of seems like an $8 lip gloss makes a little bit more sense to buy seasonally than a $150 perfume. Both could be wasteful if you don't use them and they just kind of sit around. But I just ask you, go check to see what you have first before you start buying something simply because it's a new season and you feel like you want to refresh. Sometimes it's just the newness of the season that makes us want to buy that purchase, and after a couple of weeks we've kind of forgotten about it, or just using what we have is a good reminder. Every time I use Daisy after not wearing it for a little while, I'm always like, that just smells so lovely. And I kind of forget how much I love it, and just kind of wearing it just reminds me of how beautiful it is and like kind of how perfect it is for my scent preferences. But also, depending on what you do and what your lifestyle is, I'm somebody who's more active in the summer, and that's true for a lot of us. A lot of biking, hiking, walking, sometimes for a lot of us too, it could be swimming, kayaking, maybe camping if that's your thing. A lot of these kind of daytime activities or nighttime activities are, when they're really active, I don't really want to be wearing perfume. And then in the nighttime, depending on where I'm going, I don't want to either, because I kind of feel like it attracts mosquitoes. I don't know if that's all in my mind, but what I've noticed is I tend to wear perfume and any kind of fragrance less in the summertime just because of those two factors. And so if that's you as well, buying something new, like a fragrance that's super expensive, just might not be a true investment. Let's talk about other kinds of like smelly products. I'm thinking mostly body lotions, and Bath and Body Works in particular draws a lot of us in the summertime because their scents are beautiful. But summer body lotions can really be a trap, because how many of you finish a body lotion in one season? Not me. So what happens, at least what I found when I've done this, even with like soaps, is that once it gets to like September, even to late August, I'm already in the mood for fall, and then that thing will sit in the back of my bathroom cupboard for a year until next time. And then I might own something for 3 to 5 years because I'm only using it for a couple of months and I don't want to use it for the rest of the year. So by year number 3 or 4, I'm often sick of the product and I'm like, I don't want to see this anymore. That scent might not be your favorite anymore, and you're kind of onto something newer, or it could go bad depending on what the product is. So for these kinds of products, I just like a neutral scent that I could use all year long and that doesn't really get in the way. I learned this lesson a couple of years ago with this really beautiful like summer vanilla scent. It took me maybe 4 years to use it up because of all the things I just said. And since then, I have not purchased any of those kinds of products. And the thing about Bath and Body Works too is that they encourage us to buy multiples. So you might buy 3 hand soaps or 3 body lotions, or body lotions and a shower gel. And so it's not just that you've bought one, but you've stocked up on multiples of summer fragrances that you're not going to use. If you're somebody who's like, you know what, Shauna, I love summer fragrances, that brings me a lot of joy, then buy it. But maybe just buy one or buy a mini, so you could kind of get those like summer feelings and use those products that bring you joy, but not have 20 of them or 5 of them that just kind of hang around for years, or maybe you eventually declutter or they go bad. And I'm not here to tell anybody to deprive themselves of things that they love. And often getting rid of the excess, if that's lots of hand creams or body lotions or fragrances, shower gels, bathing suits, then you can have the few that you really, really love and bring you joy. Let's talk about swimsuits next, because I think for a lot of people, it's a tradition to buy a new swimsuit every year. And there's a lot of fast fashion stores out there where you could buy a new swimsuit for, let's say, $20 or $40. And then you get this collection of swimsuits that you don't really like, or maybe they don't mix and match well, or you get this like huge kind of drawer of swimsuits. I've heard about this a lot. I used to work at a fast fashion store, and this is a story I heard time and time again, is that like it's a new season, time to buy a new suit. And this is also one of those things where it kind of feels like almost out of tradition or habit instead of maybe out of necessity. And in Canada, the summer season is so short. It's only 9 or 10 weeks. So how many times are you really going to the pool or the beach? And do you already like what you have? Because it could just be so wasteful to buy that thing just because it's a new season. And I've said this already about a couple of things on there before. And I totally get the draw of swimsuits. They can be really beautiful. And a lot of people have more than one. I have two. I have a 2-piece and then a 1-piece. And like, that's perfect enough for me. I do feel like I would like a new 1-piece. The one that I bought, I think it was 2 years ago. It fits okay, but it's really meant for somebody taller. So I have to like pull down the top to like make it kind of fit the bust area. And I do have my eye on a swimsuit brand that looks really beautiful. It's just not on the budget this year. So by kind of keeping my hands off swimsuits, I can buy one I really love next year. And that's something I also ask you to consider is, how do your swimsuits fit? Because if we're buying them from fast fashion stores, they might not be in cuts or silhouettes that are flattering or comfortable. And we kind of buy them for the beautiful prints. And often, at least my experience has been, especially with bottoms, they sag out after a couple of years if you're buying something super cheap. And no, I'm not telling you to buy a $150 swimsuit. I'm just asking you to consider how much is enough, and is what you have already good enough? Is there something really missing from your collection? Because if it is, then it totally makes sense to buy something new that fits you and that you love. I'm going to talk about next flip-flops. And I noticed this when I worked at a fast fashion store. People will come in and buy like 3 for $15. They'll buy 3 flip-flops at a time. Or stores like Old Navy have super great deals on flip-flops. Like you can buy a pair for like $2. They are super cheap. And a lot of us already own a couple of pairs. I actually, funny enough, I don't own like a typical flip-flop, you know, like the thong ones that have like the thing in between your toes. I have an Adidas pair. I think we all know those Adidas slides. And then I have a pair from Old Navy that has like a fabric cover or fabric upper, sorry. And like those are great for me. They're very different aesthetics, and those work perfectly fine. And honestly, I don't find flip-flops, like the thong ones, very comfortable. Because like I feel like every year you have to break them in, and they do hurt my feet if you're like end up walking around a lot. And so flip-flops are one of those things that are so cheap that encourages people to buy multiple. I've done that before, and I have since decluttered all of them. And then also one of the things I think about when it comes to flip-flops is that a lot of us are not used to wearing the same pair of shoes for 5 or 10 years. My last pair of flip-flops lasted me, I think, 6 years, because again, I only go to the beach like a handful of times in the summer. And yes, they did wear out and the pattern wore out, but they lasted me so many years. And I think a lot of us just like buying that new thing, especially when it's cheap, and flip-flops are one of those things. And so it kind of gives us a rush to purchase it. And flip-flops can be practical, but again, it's one of those things where it's like, how much is enough? How many pairs of flip-flops do you need to be like functional or practical? And if you're somebody who goes to the beach a lot every year, totally makes sense. But do we need 10 pairs? And do we need them in every color of the rainbow? And are we just buying them to buy something new? Bathing suits and flip-flops are some things that people buy every year. And again, because of their price. So I'm not buying them this year because I have 2 that work for all of my needs. I could easily go and buy a new pair tomorrow and it wouldn't break the bank at all, but they're just not necessary for me. And I'm asking you to consider if they're necessary for you as well. The last thing I want to talk about is statement summer jewelry. I have a couple of pieces here that I've owned for a few years. These earrings you might have seen in a handful of videos. I have something similar in a different pink color. I also have these that I got in a Cosbox last year. And then I also have this watch, which was a gift. And a lot of us already have some beautiful statement pieces for summer. So what I've noticed in myself is that I'm always drawn to new statement pieces for the summertime in particular more than any other season, because these tend to come in really bright colors and like patterns and silhouettes that we don't see any time of the year. So they feel super special when summertime rolls around. Summer is the season where I have jewelry just or exclusively for that season. Every other season, I'm perfectly fine using the same jewelry, but summer jewelry is kind of special. You have lots of tassels, bright colors. Sometimes you might even see beads or like clay earrings really come out and shine, fun shapes. I have pineapple earrings that I really love. They're just like a gold shaped pineapple earring, and it has some some pearls in them. You might have seen them on the channel before. But there's lots of cute kind of quirky pieces for summer, and I think summer is the time where you can be quirky with your jewelry. So those 9 or 10 weeks, how often are you going to be wearing your tassel earrings? And if you have 5 pairs, did you hear that thunder? And so because summer is so short, what I found is that I think having a few options works really well. But having a ton of variety just is too much, and I never get through it in a summer. So one thing I ask myself, and maybe you can ask yourself too, what are your favorite pieces? And to select just a couple that you could wear for the summer. And here's the thing about jewelry, or I guess like statement jewelry, is that it's not meant to be worn with everything all year round. And while summer jewelry might be like super special and super fun, it's a statement. So you might get bored of it easily, or it might go out of style really quick. So buying 5 or 10 new pieces each season can mean having a really big jewelry collection that you don't go through, and can maybe go out of style much quicker than you anticipated. I have 4 pairs of earrings that are my statement summer pieces. I don't have any necklaces or any other kind of jewelry that is summer other than this watch that I showed you. So these earrings are the only 4 that I own for summer. And so it does give a bit of a break to my year-round jewelry collection. Because there are a few pieces I can count on year after year, it becomes so special to be like, I can't wait to bust out these tassel earrings or my pineapple earrings. I know that they're there, and I know that like I see them in my drawer, and I can't wait to wear them. And so I think that there's something special in owning just a handful of items, and that specialness of these pieces can maybe erode if, oh my God, it just started pouring rain. And if I were to have, let's say, 10 or 20 different summer pieces in any kind of jewelry type, they're not quite as special. So those are all of the items that I will not be purchasing this summer, and I'm going to really focus on using what I have. Let me know your thoughts on what I picked, and what items are you not buying this summer? I picked items that really apply to me specifically. I would have included maybe things like statement tops like this one, or maybe other kinds of sandals or dresses, other clothing items, even nail polish. But the thing is that I actually do have a plan on buying a couple of nail polishes for the summer. But for me, I really do need new clothing pieces for summer. And then for nail polish, I do actually have plans on picking up just a couple of nail polishes too, like in the pink family. I really love doing my nails. That's something that brings me joy. I've really kind of focused and created a curated nail kind of nail polish capsule, if you will, but pinks are some colors that are missing from mine. I don't have like any other than like really light baby pinks. So I've created some budget for it, thought really hard about the colors that I want. So that's something that works for me. But if you're somebody who has a really big nail polish collection, that might not be the pick for you. So thank you so much for watching and being here today. I hope to see you again around here soon. Bye.